he's come a long way since being on Mad TV and Key and Peele. And a lot of people may not know that he was on Mad TV back in 2003 or whatnot. That's where he met his longtime collaborator and friend, Keegan Michael Key. And years later, they both made the show Key and Peele, which was a sketch comedy. Sort of like, if you ever watched Dave Chappelle's show, back in Comedy Central in the early 2000s. Yeah, it was sort of like that. But Jordan Peele has ventured his way from comedy into the horror genre, the horror thriller, genre of filmmaking. And some may even consider him to be the Black Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock was known for mystery and suspense and thrill. But hello. We are here once again. It is me, your boy, Corey the Jokester, and we are here for another episode of, you already know the title, I don't have to say it. We are going to dig into a brand new released film that I watched a week ago by the brilliant mastermind, Jordan Peele, who has made his breakout film Get Out back in 2017 and his sophomore film Us, which came out in 2019. And now his new film Nope has released on July 22nd. I had the pleasure of viewing it on July 21st, that Thursday afternoon at my local theater. And now that I have watched it, I feel like now it's time to review it. And I'm going to review it in a non-spoiler type of way. I won't give out major details or, Easter eggs or whatever, if you haven't seen the movie yet. So I'm going to spare you guys that. But I will talk about, what I thought of the movie and my feelings towards it. And, I just want to come into this conversation with a very open mind. Now, first and foremost, I will have to say that, Jordan Peele is a very brilliant director. Comes to find out, he's come a long way since being on Mad TV and Key and Peele. And a lot of people may not know that he was on Mad TV back in 2003 or whatnot. That's where he met his longtime collaborator and friend, Keegan Michael Key. And years later, they both made the show Key and Peele, which was a sketch comedy. Sort of like, if you ever watched Dave Chappelle's show, back in Comedy Central in the early 2000s. Yeah, it was sort of like that. But Jordan Peele has ventured his way from comedy into the horror genre, the horror thriller, genre of filmmaking. And some may even consider him to be the Black Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock was known for mystery and suspense and thrill. But, Jordan Peele, he's great in his own way. He is very brilliant. He knows how to make characters that you kind of come to enjoy, and he knows how to subvert expectations. There are a lot of subversions in his films. And even though he's only made 3, each and every film, he takes a certain trope from horror and he kind of just subverts it. He kind of plays with your mind a little bit. And that's what I like. I like to, think hard on the film and reflect on it. I like a little challenge. And so that's what he did with Get Out, and that's what he did with Us. Now, as far as Nope, on the other hand, I have to say that I was a little bit let down. The premise of the film, I don't know, it just didn't make sense all the way. There were lots of questions that I had in it, and I felt that certain things could have been explained a little bit better, but I'll get more into that soon. Right now, I kind of want to just stick to the positives of the film, you know what I'm saying? So, for starters, the first positive of the film, I really liked the cinematography of it. I liked the look, the aesthetic, just the overall ambition behind the movie. And I can respect Jordan Peele's vision within this ambitious project. I think out of all his films, this was probably the most ambitious to him. I remember in an interview I watched the other day about the film, he said that this film was kind of shot with IMAX cameras, which was really, really intriguing to find out because normally, you know, when you shoot in IMAX cameras, you're intending for the film to be an IMAX. And, you know, when you watch it, you will understand why. You will understand why it was shot in IMAX because the film is sort of like a spectacle. And what I mean by spectacle, it is a visually stunning film. More so visually stunning than Get Out and Us. Like I said, the ambition behind this film was very evident when I was watching it. And I think he got the cinematographer, what's his name, Hoyt? I can't pronounce his full name, but it starts with an H, but he was the cinematographer for, I think he did works such as Spectre. He also did Skyfall, if I'm not mistaken. I know he did a few James Bond films. He also did most of Christopher Nolan's work, such as Dunkirk and Tenet, you know, those films like that. And he's an amazing cinematographer, and I really looked at his track record, and man, I can see why Jordan Peele sought him out for his film. It's just visually stunning. The second positive that I can talk about within this movie are the two principal cast members, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer, who play siblings in the film. Daniel Kaluuya's character is O.J. Haywood Jr., basically the brother of Emerald Haywood, played by Keke Palmer. And these two, they play brother and sister who basically look after their father's ranch after a mysterious object in the sky sort of kills him. It's in the trailer. That's not a spoiler at all. You already know what happens in that regard. And, you know, the father, Otis Sr., which that's what the O stands for, Otis, played by Keith David, very phenomenal veteran actor, in my opinion. He was the one who died early in the film, so that's at the very beginning. And so when he dies, you know, I don't know. With Daniel Kaluuya, I want to say, you know, he's a great actor, you know, really brilliant actor. I've watched him even before Get Out. Like, I think he did a film called, it was something about a chat room. He was in a chat room with these people, and I think some horror mystery stuff started happening. I forgot what the movie was called. And he was in Johnny English Reborn, the second Johnny English movie. I thought he was pretty good in that. But it wasn't until Get Out where he really sparked my interest. And I'm not going to say that role was a breakout role for him. It was more of a standout role. Like, he really stood out as Chris, you know, the protagonist of that movie. And he was also great in, you know, Judas and the Last Messiah. You got to watch that film. It's about the Black Panther Party in Chicago in the late 60s, I think 1968 or whatnot. But yeah, you should watch it. He played Fred Hampton, who was brutally murdered by the FBI in his home along with other folks. It's a really grueling depiction of those events, but it's a really great film. And this movie, however, Daniel Kaluuya, I thought that his acting, I mean, it's good, but I think there wasn't really a lot of emotion with his character. He was just like, hey, yeah, sup, you know, great granddad, whatever, like something like that. Like, and I just thought that I don't know. I don't know if that's how he was directed to be. I don't know if that's what Jordan Peele wanted from his character, but he was just very, very one note. I think there wasn't a lot of fluff to him, but he's not bad. He's not a bad actor. He's great. I like the guy a lot, but I guess there was a scene in the beginning when the father actually does die, and his reaction to the death was just like, "Come on, pops, you're gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right." Something like that. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not seeing any feeling of concern or, you know, sadness here or melancholy. Like, I don't know. I'm just not getting it from him. But nevertheless, like I said, maybe that's just how Jordan Peele wanted the character to be. I don't know, but it's not egregious. It's not to the point where, oh, I hate the film because of that. But Keke Palmer's character, she's a standout. She's very much a standout. And when I say standout, I mean she has a very, very colorful, upbeat personality. And I just feel like, I liked that, but in that first half of the movie, her character was very annoying and obnoxious. Very obnoxious. And I don't know, it was just it's like when you watch it, you'll understand, hopefully, but you tend to like her better towards the end of the movie, like towards the final act, than you do in the beginning. And that's just something that I don't know, that stuck out to me. Now, other key cast members include Stephen Yeun, who is the voice of Invincible in the show Invincible. I talked about Invincible in one of the previous episodes that I did. And Stephen Yeun's character is a very interesting character. You have to watch him to understand where I'm coming from. And I'm not going to speak too much about him right now. That's going to be more towards the criticisms that I have for the film. But I'm just going to stick to the positives for right now. You also have Brandon Peary. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He plays Angel Torres. He was the tech salesman at the Fry's Electronics store, which is no longer out. Like, it's no longer open. They closed that store down in 2021 because of the pandemic. But his character is really funny, really interesting. And I don't know. I feel like with his character, though, he's sort of just there because of the fact that there's nothing else going on in his life. He just went through, I think he went through something. I'm not going to tell you what he went through, but, it involved another person. I'll just leave it at that. And basically, it's just his excuse for tagging along, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. And I'm just like, he's not annoying, but at the same time, he's just, I don't know, he's just poking his nose in other people's business. And I'm just like, man, go on somewhere, man. Like, it's a family matter. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's not too egregious to where I hate them for it. But, and then you have Michael Wincott's character. Michael Wincott, very great actor. I enjoyed seeing him in these villainous roles, such as Alien Resurrection and The Crow. I know him best from The Crow, a really good movie, by the way. But yeah, you should definitely pay more attention to him in the film. He has a very interesting and unique role, and I feel like with his character, though, he was a little flat himself. Like, in the movie, he just talks like, yeah, I'm gonna catch me one. We're gonna need some old cameras if we want to catch this alien. Yeah, like, I don't know. He just started talking like he had this little smoke speech, this little speech valve in his mouth, like, like that commercial where that guy had to use it because he was smoking a lot and it messed up his throat and he had to talk like this. Yeah, that's how he talks in the film. And I'm just like, well, maybe we can add a little bit more, you know, layers to these people, and maybe you'll get to enjoy them just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, they all work well together. Like they're a good. Um, should I even call them ensemble at this point? But there is a point in the movie where they do kind of become an ensemble, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say too much about that and what happens to bring them together like that. But yeah, Michael Wincott plays a cinematographer. Basically, he's trying to, you know, be done with the business for good, the film business. Oh, I completely skipped over the premise of this movie. I apologize, everybody. So the premise of this movie is basically Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. They both play brother and sister, who are trying to basically capture footage of a mysterious flying object in the sky. You know, some extraterrestrial object. And they want to capture footage of it so that way they can earn money and, you know, come up from the ranch, I guess, the ranch that they live on or whatnot. And, you know, they own horses, they take care of horses. And so Daniel Kaluuya, OJ, in the film, he has to sell some of the horses to Stephen Yoon, who is like some park owner. He's like a park overseer or whatnot. He's the overseer of this attraction, and he's like getting these horses, and he's trying to round the general public, you know, to his attraction in order to, you know, generate revenue or whatever. Basically, be a, you know, be that type of guy, I guess, to make money. So yeah, like that's their motivation. Otis and what's her name? Emerald. Otis and Emerald's motivation for capturing the alien in the sky. Like they want to basically capitalize off of it. And I'm like, mm, that's it. Like that's the motivation. Like, I mean, okay. I mean, I thought it was because your father got killed by a mysterious object in the sky, and you wanted to capture it and make sure that it doesn't happen to anyone else. But hey, nevertheless, okay. All right, moving on. So characters are, they're they're okay, but there's not much depth to them to where you completely root for them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not enough substance in my opinion. And so now that we've talked about some of the positives, let's get more into the critiques that I have for the film, the criticisms. And one criticism I've already mentioned was the motivation of the main characters. I just felt like there could have been more depth to that. I felt like, I don't know, that was a little weak. There could have been more substance to that. Another criticism that I have is getting back to Stephen Yoon. I said we were going to get back to that later. There's a flashback scene of him as a child, and something really tragic happens, and it involves a chimpanzee. Now, I'm not going to get into like what actually happens, but the movie sort of like stops what it's trying to do or what it's trying to say in order to have this little mini sequence of, this backstory, this subplot or whatnot. And the film, it sort of takes a break from its main story. And when you watch it, you're like, okay, how does this connect back to the main story? Like, what does this have to do with Otis and Emerald? And it's a great scene. Like it's a well directed scene, but I just felt like it just felt so out of place with the rest of the movie. And I don't know. It could have been a different movie in and of itself, but Jordan Peele took it upon himself to just put it in there with no significance whatsoever. And it's like you would think, when you first watched it, you're like, okay, I see what Jordan Peele's trying to do. I hope he connects it back to the main story. Like he's trying to make it to where it's all going to flow together. But no, Once we see that scene, we do not come back to it ever again. We do not find out any more about how it connects to the main story. It's almost like a filler. You know what I'm saying? It's just filler. And that scene, you can just get up and go to the bathroom while that's happening because it does go on for quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen Yeun's character is a supporting character. He's not a main character. Now I can see if it was a main character thing going on, but he was a supporting character. So it was just like, why are we spending so much time with him when we can be getting back to, Otis and Emerald? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just felt so out of place to me a little bit. But, I don't know. It just, these characters, like, they're not given enough longevity to, fully connect and coincide with. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of wrote a review on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm going to read it out to you. I'm going to read it. It goes like this. 3 years have passed since Jordan Peele's sophomore film, Us, and he has now showcased to the world his third directorial feature, Nope, which stars Keke Palmer and Jordan Peele alum Daniel Kaluuya. Both star as O.J. Haywood and Emerald Haywood, two siblings who come across a mysterious flying object in the sky and attempt to document it on camera. I will start off to commend Peele for constantly casting strong black leads in his films, as he did previously, as he creates a subversion and authenticity in the horror/thriller genre. It is a breath of fresh air to see these characters persevere and have a sort of longevity that allows for the audience to root for them in a sense that we do not always get in other Hollywood films of this genre. Both Palmer and Kaluuya work well together as polar opposites, with Palmer orchestrating comedic timing and Kaluuya putting on more of a straight man performance. Although for him there may be at times not enough substance to make him a more well-rounded dynamic character. And that's what I was saying earlier with his emotions and expressions that he had in the film. I just felt like he could have, I don't know, maybe the direction for him could have been a little bit more authentic in a sense. But getting back to the review, same goes for Michael Wincott's character, Antler's holster. Having been shot using IMAX cameras, the film amps up Peele's previous cinematographies even higher, displaying a more interactive spectacle. The compositions and framing are definitely plausible as it creates a sort of immersion within the film environment. It is definitely Peele's most visually stunning and ambitious films since his previous two. I do, however, feel at times that this spectacle is utilized in a sense that one could easily become distracted by it, that they forget the social commentary, which is something that I felt was missing from the film. And the social commentary, that was going to be my next point with the criticism about what I had towards the film, like what I kind of didn't like about it. I'll expand more on that in a minute. Peele is known for critiquing societal issues in a way that he does so with gravitas and cleverness. This film kind of lacks those elements that made him a lovable director in the first place. The message may be there, but it is not strongly presented in a powerful manner that will have people reflecting on it at an unexpected time. Nevertheless, this is not to say that the movie fails to entertain or leave you with something to talk about, because it is a very awe-inspiring sci-fi thriller that you can very much have a great time with, even though it may be not as strong as its predecessors. The film itself is visually strong and powerful enough to appreciate the ambition and authenticity that Jordan Peele has bestowed on the people. And for that, I gave this film a 6.8 out of 10, or 68%. It was the least that I could do. It was, I thought that was generous of me to do, give it a D+. I just thought this film, it wasn't as gut-punching as, Get Out. Or even Us, even though I didn't like Us too much like that either. Like, I had some problems with that film. And I think those problems sort of carried over into this film. Where, with Get Out, Jordan Peele, he basically dropped little tiny hints at the beginning of the film that would come back later. And those hints were very cohesive throughout the movie. He had these different allegories and different messages and symbolisms that kind of culminated into this one social commentary that he was trying to convey in the movie in the first place. And he kind of did that with Us in a sense too, but not as effective as he did in Get Out. And I felt that this movie was lacking that as well. Like, he was so focused more on the spectacle that I think he sort of forgot about actually making a social statement that would have people reflecting on it and say, hey, okay, I never looked at it like this, but now I see where this man is coming from. Now I see why this symbol was in the movie or what that meant. Okay, it all makes sense. And there's even a Bible quote at the beginning of Nope that talks about making a spectacle. And so I'm just like, all right, well, you got this nice cinematographer here shooting this film, and you have the ambition, you have the vision, but what about the script? What about the symbolisms and the hints and just all the things that you cultivated in Get Out? What about making a powerful statement? Like, what's the social commentary here? And that's what he's known for. He's known for using these certain techniques, film techniques, in order to convey a certain commentary. But I just didn't get that here. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get that here. And I know some people have said that, oh, the social commentary is there, you just got to dig deep into it. I'm like, okay, if you understood it, I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to knock you down because you understood it. But the message just wasn't clear to me. It just wasn't clear to me. I felt like it could have been more clear. It could have been intriguing to solve, like, the puzzle piece. In this film, I guess it's just sort of like, all right, well, here are the facts. Here are the pieces to the puzzle. Now it's up to you to figure it out. And I'm like, it shouldn't be all on us. I mean, yeah, you don't want to assume that the audience is stupid, but at the same time, you got to explain certain things. You know what I'm saying? You don't just present it and then not explain it. And if you do explain it, explain it well. You know what I'm saying? There were just a lot of plot holes and a lot of loose ends that just weren't tied together. Like, the antagonist of the film is that object. And I'm not going to tell you the twist of that. I'm not going to tell you what it actually is, because that would be a major spoiler. You just have to watch it for yourself. I mean, in the trailer, people have thought that, what if it's an alien invasion? What if it's this? What if it's that? All I'm going to say is just watch it for yourself. It personally didn't meet my expectations. I was kind of disappointed and let down. But, I mean, it was still an entertaining watch. I just left the theater with a lot of questions. And I watched it twice, by the way. I watched it twice to see if I could pick up on new things that I didn't pick up watching it the first time. And nope, no pun intended, I didn't. I didn't pick up on anything new. I still left the second time the same way I felt the first time. And that's kind of disappointing in of itself. I really wanted to give this film a chance. I really wanted to, be like, yeah, okay, this might be a step up from Us. But I don't know. It's kind of the opposite. I just feel like this film, it had the ambition, but it just didn't have that motivation that it needed to tell a really good, enriching story. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't really enlightened in the end. I didn't leave this film feeling inspired or, wanting to change a certain perspective of, how I feel about society. Get Out did that for me. Us kind of did that for me to an extent. But this film, it just didn't. Like, I just wasn't really inspired by the spectacle. I don't know. Maybe I expected too much because it's Jordan Peele and, he's brilliant, like I said. But I don't know. I think he missed with this one. And that's kind of disappointing to say. But I'm not going to say, oh, it's the end of the world for him and he's terrible, he's horrible. I just feel like with the last two films he made, Us and, Nope, I just feel like he hasn't really done a great job at being cohesive with his plot points. Like, there are certain plot points that don't all tie together and don't really make sense. Like, maybe we could use a little bit more explanation, like I was saying before. But nevertheless, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someday in the future he'll learn from this and hopefully get better at tying things together. And he's really talented. He really is. Like I said, the man has come a long way since Mad TV and Key and Peele. You know what I'm saying? He's come a long way, a mighty long way. And I'm proud of the brother. I really am. I'm proud of him. But this movie, I don't know. I'm not going to say it was a nope. I'm not going to say it was a yep. I'm just going to say it was a meh. It's all right. I mean, could have been better. That's what I'll leave it as. So, unfortunately, Nope was not as dope as I thought it was. Yeah, I gave it a 6.8 out of 10. That's a 68%. That's the most I can give it. And let's see if there's anything else I need to point out before I end this episode here. Yeah, like I said, it was just kind of disappointing to see how not everything unraveled. It was just kind of disappointing to know that this was one of my most anticipated movies of this year in 2022, and it kind of let me down. It kind of let me down. Now, I don't want to say that Jordan Peele is going to become a one-trick pony or a one-hit wonder, because I'm pretty sure the man is going to have more ambitious ideas in the future. There's going to be more works that he's going to put out, and I can't wait to check it out. I can't wait to see what else he has under his belt. But I hope it's better than this. I hope it's better than Us. I'm not going to say that it's over for him, because it's not. Like I said, the brother's brilliant. But I don't think he'll ever make another Get Out. I think that was just, with that being his first film, that was a passion film. And so I think that film served its purpose when it did. But as far as where the future is going to go with him, I'm really hoping that he's going to get better at, making these stories less confusing and tying them all together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really wish the best and hope for the best for this man in the future. Because like I said, he's brilliant. And that's the last time I'm going to say it. He's brilliant. And so I hope that he learns from this film and, is inspired to make something that will be gut punching again. Make something that will have a powerful social commentary. Because I am really looking forward to that Jordan Peele. Not this spectacle guy that just wanted to, make some Steven Spielberg Jaws-like film. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is your boy Corey the Jokester, and I just presented to you the Nope review, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Till next time, take care.